to trust them, then you're not going to trust them. So the thing is that I see in this, Drake, and you correct me if I'm wrong, what you've given us is the ability to support you and support those who are fighting for us. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
I have a question.
Okay, we got one more question, and then we're going to take a break and just catch a breath and go use the restroom, get a soda, whatever. We got one more question. Go ahead, ma'am.
Okay, Drake. My question is that a little bit confusion. I am all about forgiveness, and if these people are really, like crying uncle, so to speak, saying, let's make the transition peacefully, I'm all about that. But how? What is all this talk about war, if that's the case? Because if they are out of money, how can they go to war? How can there be a war? And that doesn't jive with everything we've heard for the last several months about how these people are done and we got them by the short hairs and New World Order isn't going to happen. I'm confused about that. And I'm also confused about the fact that I have a family of 8 members that have just gone against me because I have learned the truth and taken a stance and unplugged from the crooked system. And I live basically from, on $89 a month on food stamps and no income whatsoever because these people are crooks and have stolen every single dollar you have, and I refuse to perpetuate their system. And the question I have is, my own family won't talk to me. How can I instantly go to them and say, listen to this and go vote real quick on how to make freedom for everybody? It's too much too fast, and I'm really confused on how I can communicate to the people who really need to hear this and who really need to get to the crux of it all as to how it's going to be good for them to go and vote. I'm really I'm all about NESARA. I think NESARA is the greatest thing ever, and I've been waiting for 20 years for this. But I cannot tell people in my family who barely even talk to me anyway, much less strangers, to go and vote for this. Can you give some light on that, and how can these people go to war if they have no money? Thank you.
Okay, they got ammunition and they got a full tank of gas, and it will take them far enough to cause an extraordinary amount of damage. There's also a thing called missiles, in case you haven't heard of those. As far as your family goes, I got a lot of people that I know that won't talk about this simply because of what I have to say. Now, I don't come right out and say, ooh, NWO, or any of that. I try to have a normal conversation. And they have heard me talk about this before. Consequently, they don't want to listen. Well, that's fine. They will get a rude awakening when this happens. And then they're going to be wanting to talk to you.
Yeah, at that point.
And it doesn't matter what you're talking about. It could be saving their soul or giving them a job. Can't hear too well. That is not your problem. If you don't know anybody outside your family, then you're kind of stuck with it. If you know anybody outside your family, whom you might talk to, see if they'd be interested. Ask them. If you'd be interested in voting on freedom, here you go. Bingo.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, we're done with our break. I hope everybody had a chance to take a breath, settle down. We do have a couple of questions that were queued during our last song, and we have people on the Truth Finder network. They are burning up the chat system there. They have virtually crashed the chat system on the Global Voice network. So I guess I'm going to have to go back to the drawing board on that one and add a few more servers to it. We do have another call-in number. That is 805 399-1200. That is access code 153938. One more time, 805-399-1200 and access code 153938. There is a chat system available on truthfindersnetwork.com. They are simulcasting this program, and we are doing a Drake and Company. Now, Drake, I'm going to give it back to you and let you turn it over to Grammy, I believe, who had that question.
Yes, a beautiful lady.
Thank you, Brother Drake. I love all of you very much. God bless you. I only need a couple minutes. There's a little confusion about what you're saying. I would like to say that one of the things that Drake is, in short, trying to say is that mass arrests have not taken place yet for a very good reason. The good people are trying to reduce the chances of war and bloodshed because it sounds like it is possible to negotiate with these horrible, evil people, which is going to break them financially, which is going to take away their power, which a lot of you are misunderstanding, and it's going to return the power back to we, the people of the world. And the bad people are still going to face a punishment, and some of them will be executed. We need to get up off our butts, and we need to go to www.dragonlady.com, and we need to vote before Saturday, because when she pulls that down, her and Drake are going to let the good people know, the ones that are helping to set us free, they're going to let us know what your will is and that you want to be free. And this is our chance to make our statement. That's all I got to say, brother.
Thank you. I believe there's another caller who wants to add something about war.
Excuse me, people. It's LadyDragon.com. Hello?
LadyDragon.com, sorry.
It's okay, thank you.
Jim, are you there?
Okay, I'm unmuted now, right?
I think you be.
Okay. My real name is Jim Lovell. Some of you may recognize me as Jim from West Virginia.
Hi, baby.
I do. My parents dropped me through the rabbit holes in 1965, and I know about this since forever and a day. Not necessarily, but the original plan back in the 70s from the dark side was to inflate all the world's currencies at the same time, and then when people cried out for gold currency, they'd be gold standard, they would be sitting on the gold. Now, this whole deal about the war, they have been telling people everything, lies. Everything they say is a lie almost. Oh, you'll have a pension if you stay in the military. Oh, you sign on with ROTC, you'll have a $2 million pension. It won't be there. But there's a percentage of people who still believe it. There are a certain number of their minions, I'm sure, who think, yeah, the system's right, and I'm defending whatever they're defending. I don't know. But they still have the ability to make war. And the deal with these people with the uniforms don't understand, and this tears me to shreds, is they're disposable. The whole idea is to kill off as many people as possible, uniforms or not. And with that, I'll kind of bow out.
Hi, good afternoon. This is Thomas. Can I ask a question?
Sure, go ahead.
Good evening, Drake. This is Thomas Ford of the House McFadden. Drake, one of the issues that very generous and kind, loving, peaceful man has been working very hard on is identifying the CAFR accounts, which are basically the Comprehensive Annual Financial Reports, and that man is located on Arizona, up near Prescott or Payson, California, and he's been doing this now for I think about 22 years. And he's also tied with a couple of gentlemen who are members of the American Board of Forensic Analysis.
Mm-hmm.
That amount of debt instruments or assets or credits, whatever you want to call it, he is identified as 119 trillion. That is trillion credits, debits, Federal Reserve notes, United States dollars, whatever you want to call it. That is every county, city, state, police department, school district, Comprehensive Annual Financial Report, the other side of the books, that they're holding as their reserve account. Now, the next thing is the American Depository Receipts, which I'm sure everybody knows them by another name. They're known as birth and death certificates, marriage certificates, and any other type of certificate that's issued by a Registrar of Deeds on any county, city, or state that has a registered seal stamp on there. The American Depository Receipts are held by Bank of New York Mellon, which are holding 25.8 trillion Federal Reserve note dollars or credits or debt instruments or whatever you want to call it. So collectively, you're looking at about $146 trillion being held on the private side of all of those assets. Now, many people on this call don't realize that one thing happened to them when they were born, and only one thing one time. Their feet touched a piece of paper and created their estate. That estate has been
been amassing large amounts of credits. It's basically an unexpired, it's a lease. And what I believe your process is doing, and I'm working with some other folks too, is that there's a termination of lease taking place. You no longer have the right to use my identity tied with the military-industrial complex. Therefore, I'm collapsing the trust. I want the res, and I want to live in peace. So therefore, this is the way that we can do this, whether they want to call it NESARA or American Depository Receipts. You can type into Google ADRs, and it'll pull up Bank of New York Mellon. Everything I'm telling you is 100% truth. I've been doing this for 34 years, and we've spoke a couple times before, and I'm connected on some backsides through multiple people that you know, as well as I know that they know that you know that I know. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you tonight, and I want to also commend you and thank you for bringing out this on this day that is the commemoration of the invasion of Normandy Beach, that we should give praise and grace to all those wonderful people, who gave their lives so gallantly for us to be free. Now, when you start to realize the amount of research that one has been doing here, along with others who have been immersed in this, and you have a chance to read a book by Greg Hallett called Adolf Hitler Was a British Agent, you will realize, and you'll come to realize, that the most diabolical group of people on this planet who need to have a complete paradigm shift in their thinking, because they need to be surrounded with a white light so they can come and evolve themselves out of being the most diabolical people on the planet, and that's the people that are occupying Buckingham Palace and the Tavistock Institute. Not only was Hitler a British agent, but so was Stalin and a few other people. So with that said, I would highly recommend if somebody wants to really open their eyes to what happened in World War II, which this day commemorates, because this is June 6th. This happens to be my father's birthday, who also landed on Normandy on his birthday with the beginning of D-Day in Europe and the invasion that put a stop to Adolf Hitler, which, in essence, the real problem was it was all planned years, many, many, many years in advance through the Tavistock Institute with the Germans and the British, and they were all buddy-buddy friends, but they allowed, 41 million people, men and women, children, to be murdered and massacred and put in the concentration camps. So all I say is that we know what they've done. We need to surround them with a beautiful white light so they can come to an internal cleanse for themselves, so they can be redeemed, if that is possible in their lives, in their consciousness. As the Pale One talks about in the great teachings of the Cherokee tribes, these people know what they've done. At some point, we're going to wake up and look in the mirror and realize what they've done to not only mankind, but also the planet. So with that, I would like to say thank you very much for letting me speak, and you have a wonderful night.
Thank you. Add something else here from a wise old veteran. If the bad boy, there are some revolutions. Here we go around again, because the government gets too big, then people overthrow it. The question is how violently. And you study the Greek city-states. Some of them, it was really bad. The worst ones were when the military believed the regime and stuck with the regime, and it was bloody. The least worstest were the ones where they stepped aside, and the military realized, now we already have the military stepping over to the civilian side. Now, if the bad boys really do have access to all our communications, and I know personally from a few experiences, plural, that they have an immense ability to collect intel, they're quite aware that people all over the world know that the banksters are the bad boys. They're kind of like Mubarak in Egypt, who got out ahead of time. And I think there was a guy who ran Argentina who got out in a helicopter, if memory serves. They see the torches approaching the castles, and they want to get out alive. That's the way I see it. Now, I have no special inside intel, and I'll back out again.
Good point.
I got a question.
Okay.
What makes you think you can trust them? If they're so adamant on avoiding this, why don't they come out prior to it? Make one of the stipulations make prior to us signing this, because my fear for signing this, I don't mind signing it, but everybody that signs it, they have total access to it. It's so easy to pick it up and say, here's all the people that sign this, here's the militia, here are the people that are going to either take war or not, round them up, put them in the FEMA camps. You can't trust anything they got. If they're going to be trustworthy about it, make them announce the NESARA.
This is part of the plan now.
We'll vote,
what you need to do is go to the archives and listen to my addressment of the troops.